to demonstrate how to knit in the round with 2 circular needles. It's one of my favorite methods. And so I have 2 number 5 for this project, number 5 16-inch needles. And when you cast on 1 needle, and then you divide between the 2 needles, and half and half. And I've already knit the cuff of the little shell mitten, new little shell mittens that I'm making. And I'm on the gusset. Can't see the gusset. Okay. So when you're knitting on 2 circulars, the front circular is your working needle, and the back circular is just hanging down, what I call idle. It's not doing anything. And you always knit with just 1 needle. You're never knitting with both needles. So right now I am working on this front needle. The yarn is in the back coming off of the idle needle. And so I will knit across my front needle, leaving the back needle idle. So that's a very important thing to remember, because if you knit with the other needle, all of the stitches will end up on 1 needle, and then you'll have to redistribute them, and that could be a little tricky. After you knit across the needle, you will turn the work around. The yarn will be now on the idle needle in the back, and you will pick it up and just knit off the front needle, what was a minute ago your idle needle. I'm working with Elemental Effects Cormo, which is a really nice springy yarn, and it's great for knitting mittens and hats. You know, it has a nice way of holding its shape, and it's not a big yarn for pilling, so I do recommend that if you ever get the opportunity to get a skein of Cormo to play with. And I'm coming to the end of my front needle, and I'm just going to demonstrate turning it around, if I can manage to keep this in the screen. Okay, so I've knit to the end of my front needle, and I'm just going to pull that out because that is now going to be my idle needle. Here's my yarn. I'm going to turn the needles around, and now the needle which had been my idle needle, I am now going to knit with that, and the front needle, the first needle, is now in the back, just hanging there. You can see it. It's just hanging. And the yarn I'm picking up, it's on the back needle. It's on the back needle, and this is my front needle. And so now I'm just going to start knitting across my front needle. And I refer to these needles first needle, second needle. So the first needle that you had knit across is in the front, and then the second needle is lying idle, and then when you turn it around, you're knitting across the second needle, and the first needle is now idle in the back. So anyway, have a go at it. If you haven't done it before, it's a great method for knitting socks and gloves and hats, and you could even do it with sweaters and skirts, because the nice thing about doing a sweater or skirt on 2 circular needles is at any point, if you wanted to try it on, you can, because there's enough this separation in the needles, so you're not constrained by a circular needle. And good luck.